Hi guys, Wenhui here. This video is like a follow-up to my last video when I said I will do a review of my Brisbane Regional Championship experience. I thought it would be pretty useful to share in case anyone wants to go overseas to play in a TPCI tournament but have not done so before. Yeah, this was my first time playing in a TPCI tournament also, and this tournament had 470 players, which I finished top 64. At, and it's kind of crazy because they actually have less players than our local tournaments. But if you think about it, it makes sense because you have to pay to enter the tournament, and there's no like infinite value promo that people just take and run away after round 3. So it was pretty true, quite a small tournament, and everything was done on RK9. You have to register for the tournament on RK9, and it's like prepaid. I think it was 60 Australian dollars for masters, which is actually quite decent considering that you get like a play mat and a promo at least for your troubles, and also everything else like pairings. You check pairings on RK9 also. Everything is on this website, but you have to make a play Pokemon profile and connect to your RK9 profile first. I think you can do this on the Pokemon website, and then after that everything else is very clean. You just find everything on this website. Yeah, so let me talk about the list that I was running. I was on Lost Box, which was not a very good meta call, but I was very under practiced, so I decided to just send the list that I've been playing in UBL's few weeks before. So for those who are not very familiar with this version of Lost Box, this is basically the same 59 as Grand Manly, who played a similar list to UIC, I think like a month ago. And I think literally the only card that I changed was he had 2 metal, 1 grass, then I changed it to 2 grass, 1 metal because I wanted to use the evolution energies and I did not have 2 metal evolution energies. So this version is a bit different from the Pokestop version that most people are familiar with, because you can see this deck is built to deal with item lock, because this tournament was in prismatic format and there were a lot of Badius running around. So we have no counter catcher, we have 2 boss, no counter catcher, we have a Crispin here, which is basically your 5th Mirage Gate, or if you draw it early game, you can use it to power up your Greninja, even though before you reach 7 in the Lost Zone. And we have 2 other zones instead of Pokestop to help you find your stuff under item lock. It's very important because you want to draw into this when you're getting item lock, so you get Cram to knock out the Badu. You have Jet Energy, and Jet Energy is like an insane card for those who are unfamiliar with Lost Box, because back in the day where Tina was playing like 4 Jet Energy, right? If you have 3 Comfrey on board, right? Like 2 at the back and 1 inactive, right? If you're not doing anything for a turn, right? 1 Jet Energy is basically 3 Flower Selects. So that you can go Flower Select the active Jet on the back Comfrey, Flower Select, then retreat into another Comfrey. So Jet Energy in hindsight was a insane inclusion, especially because if you really have nothing to use it for, a lot of the Pokemon here have colors in their attack requirements, so you can use it to switch the Pokemon in the active and also power up the attack at the same time. You see Lost Vacuum, 1 Lost Vacuum, which is less than the Pokestop version because you're not really trying to rush to 7 in the Lost Zone, but it's still good for like random tools that you find or random stadiums that you find. Get rid of them. If not, you can just vacuum your own other zone in the later stages of games where you don't really need it. The rest of the stuff is quite standard. File Comfy, Cram, Stabilize, Greninja, Bundle, Gigas is great, Iron Hands, Pikachu, Bear, Fez. So I think a lot of people are confused about Fez because I think like Lost Box is supposed to be like a single price deck that trades favorably into the opponent, like wins the price trade. I mean, that's not true, but putting Fez into play actually helps with the deck because is instead of thinking as of Lost Box as a single price deck, you think it's better to think of Lost Box as the combo deck. You need a lot of pieces to make the insane one turn attack. Like, you know, you had to insane a lot of pieces to make a Pikachu out of nowhere, you know, pieces to you know, make a Gigas out of nowhere. And Fast helps to achieve that, especially when you're getting disrupted every turn. And if you let's say your bot is like, if you're playing against Dragapult, right, and the bot is like Fast Gigas, right, and you use Fast to set up Gigas, right, your opponent now has to choose whether to knock out your Fast or knock out your Gigas, because if they just kill the Fast and take the 2 prize, right, you just go Roxanne and Gigas them again, and now your bot is all 1 prizes and they cannot do anything about it. So that's the insane part about Fast, because if they're knocking out your threat on a bot, they are not knocking out Fast, and Fast basically is with Fast, Comfey, Greninja, you're drawing a lot of cards. So yeah, all the standard stuff, 4 Couriers, 1 Roxanne. Roxanne is an insane card. Roxanne is like basically the only disruption that this deck has, but if you drop it on the correct turn, your opponent actually cannot do anything. You just die to Roxanne. 4 Mirage Gate, 4 Super Rod. This one is quite normal. Prime Catcher is also very normal. Energy Split, I think 1 Psychic and 1 Metal is kind of risky, but you kind of have to find space in this deck to cut the stuff. I mean, 1 Psychic kind of makes sense because you only have 1 Sableye, and you don't have to use Sableye in every matchup, and 1 Metal also because you don't have to use Pikachu in every matchup. So that's the list. You kind of have to focus on setting up the bot and building a Lost Zone instead of rushing to 7 and blowing up your opponent, because Badu is a thing. And the reason why I say this wasn't a good meta call, because if you look at the meta game for Brisbane, we have 12% Gardevoir, which you lose to because they just park left key and you just die. Then 11.5% Dragapult plus maybe like 6%. Like 11.5% does not Dragapult and 6% Dragapult, which is like basically 18%. And it's, even though I said the deck was built to deal with Badu, it's still not very good, because once they Badu your bot to death, you just blow up your bot and you cannot do anything. But if you are able to get a cram out and start putting pressure by spitting on the Badu, then you can actually sort of even the price trade out. Then it's also unfavored against, this is like a horrible matchup, almost unplayable matchup. You have Terrapagos Poison at almost 6%. This matchup, right, they just go Poison their Badu and Itchy Pollen. Itchy Pollen you. They have that, your like 1 Comfey is dying every turn because they have like the Sneasler, they have the Jungle, they poison you. They're basically doing 80 to a Comfey, and a Comfey dies from poison, so you can't fast. And losing a Comfey every turn is insane. You cannot do anything about it. But I think one way to deal with Badu, besides using Cram, is you actually, if you draw Crispin, you can Crispin to a Comfey and spinning attack, which is actually I would say the best way, but like it's like a decent way to deal with Badu, because you're not putting anything else on the board that, you know, is vulnerable to them. So yeah, this Terrapagos is probably my worst matchup. But if you think about it, Lost Box is actually favored into the rest of the decks. Well, most of the rest of the decks. You see, it's favored into Gholdengo because of Pikachu, favored into Miraidon, favored in Archelodon, favored into Lugia. I think the main reason why I was playing Lost Box is because there were too many Lugia players in Singapore, and I Lost Box is one of the few decks that can just run Lugia over. Yeah, even if the Lugia does the Legacy Energy and Hands, Lost Box can still catch up, because the price trade with Iron Hands is just too good for Lost Box. And it's favored into Ogerpon, favored into Shellage, favored into Roaring Moon. Okay, maybe like unfavored into Regidrago, but it's like a 2% deck, right? And I think else is whatever, because you are not hitting any of them, right? So that's the reason why it wasn't such a good meta call. So, for the tournament, so the tournament was on Saturday, Sunday, and registration was on Friday. The Friday before that, it was like around 5 p.m. And because it was in Brisbane, I basically had to spend 1 day traveling because I was a cheapskate and I didn't take the direct flight. So the air ticket was around $600, and I did a layover in Bali for like 3 hours both ways. So it ended up taking like around 12 hours of travel because it was a 3 hour flight to Bali, 3 hour layover, then a 6 hour flight to Brisbane from Bali. And I didn't get any food. I mean, on the plane lah, and in the budget, it was a budget airline, so it's a bit squeezy. But besides that, besides the horrible flight, the layover was still fine. Uh, I did a direct transfer, so I didn't have to go through the check-in, check-out process again. I basically just went into the departure terminal and got lunch. Yeah. So accommodation, I went with my, well, I didn't go together on the flight, but I was there together with my two of my locals, Alex and Seb. I think Alex went 1 day earlier. He went on Wednesday because he was meeting his friend in Brisbane. I went on well, I went on Wednesday also, but I was traveling on Wednesday. I reached like Wednesday night, like 10 p.m. But I went earlier because I wanted 1 day on Thursday to do some sightseeing of my own. Then my other friend Seb, he reached Friday morning. Like he was basically just there for the tournament. So I reached there on Thursday. Well, I reached there on Wednesday night, sorry. I went to the Airbnb. We shared the Airbnb. It was a 3 room Airbnb. We had one living room and 2 bedrooms. Alex took 1 bedroom, and I was sharing 1 bedroom with Seb. But because I was there basically 2 days earlier than Seb, I got the bedroom to myself for 2 days. Yeah, and I reached Wednesday night. And it was the convention center was at this place called South Bank, which I don't know if I can pull it up right here. Maps. It was at South Bank, and it was pretty convenient because you had it's right here, had a direct train from the airport. I'm not sure if I can see, but it's an airport, right? Then there's like a train line that goes all the way down here. It takes about like 30 minutes, and it's even though this looks very small, right? Our apartment was here lah, basically. Then this was like in between. There's like a South Bank something station and another South Bank train station here. It was in between them. Even though it looks very small, actually this was like I wouldn't say like a 10 minutes walk, especially because the hall for the tournament was like nearer to the other side of the convention center. Yeah, so it was pretty close, and like there were quite a few food options around. There was like freaking Michelle or something, so it was a pretty good location. And I'm not sure where I'm going with this, but in case there's another Brisbane Regional Championship, you kind of know how easy it is to access this place. Anyways, I reached on Wednesday night, and I slept. I had nothing to do on Thursday, so I just sorry I had to cut the forfeit. But I was saying on Thursday I had nothing to do. I was alone, so I went around to all the LGS in the local area to take a look. I mean, I also walked around the city. It's quite big. It's easy to get lost, but as long as you have Google Maps, you should be fine. Public transport is good. It's like flat 50 cents to travel anywhere, and you can pay with like Visa. So don't need to get like any special card or anything like that. I bought the LGS were pretty cool because they had a lot of stuff that were like pre-COVID, just to share like photo that I took. These are the stuff that I got from the LGS. I also got these blackout sleeves, which are coated sleeves, by the way. They have the black interior like dragon shoe, but they are not as hard, like stiff. They're not as stiff, and they have like super sharp corners, so they are much easier to shuffle. I'm definitely getting more of these when I go back to Australia. These are also the sleeves that I was using in my MBL top cut. Yeah, this is what the box looks like. Super cool. Oh yeah, and also these are the photos I took of the Airbnb. Pretty nice. Got a table for playtesting. I got a sofa and TV. I didn't really use the TV most of the time. Oh, there's a balcony, yeah, but like you're not gonna play test on balcony. It was raining most of the time. Weather was like autumn weather is like 20 degrees ish, 20 to 25, and it rained a lot. So most of the days I either went out with like a long sleeve shirt or I just put on my jacket. Uh, yeah, some of the other photos that I took, I had McDonald's. You know, I bought Michelle for dinner and pizza. Yeah, actually, the place is it's quite similar to Singapore. If you walk around for a while, yeah. The one thing that threw me off was the traffic light. The traffic lights have the exact same sound as the Singapore traffic lights, so it threw me off for a bit there. And anyways, so that's my Thursday. On Friday, Sep arrived, so we went to walk around. We went to walk around the LGS again, and also uh went to play test a bit. And Sep was like telling me he hasn't decided on the deck to play yet, but if we go to LGS and we find Oranguru V, he's gonna play Cloth for the weekend. So we found a Ergo V, he locks in Cloth, and we went to play test, I think like a few rounds in the apartment before we go for registration. And because I was playing Lost Box, I basically lost like 5 games in a row. Like it was 5-1. The one game I won against him was like I managed to cue the Badil into like a amp on a squad and even out the price rate that way. So I was like, this deck is such a shit play for this weekend, but I haven't practiced anything else, so I might as well just send it. Anyways, my confidence wasn't very good, but I basically only bought one more deck, which was Guardi, and I didn't practice Guardi at all. So uh, we had to I had to make do with what I had. And registration, after that we went for registration. Registration was at 5 p.m. ish at the convention center. Basically, all we had to do is had to show up, show our Arcanine profile, our photo ID, which I had to bring my passport for. Then they gave us a play mat, and by right they was also give us a promo, but the promo was delayed. The freaking surfer was delayed, and they gave us a wristband, which was quite funny because like, why would they give us a wristband if we're gonna on the previous day? I was definitely gonna shower. Yeah, so this was the photo of the queue. I was quite early, so I was quite ahead in the queue. They had like a lot of counters, by the way, so it only took like 5 to 10 minutes before I could took my stuff. Yeah, and yeah, the queue extended all the way to the other end of the convention center, but the the registration was like from 5 to 9, so yeah, you had a lot of time to like just show up and pick up the stuff. Yeah, this was a queue, and this was the playmat they gave us, the Latias playmat. I was super lucky to get this one because the other playmat in rotation was the Alolan Executor one, the Terra Alolan Executor. So this was definitely the better one to get, in my opinion. If I'm not wrong, the rest who went to, was it Melbourne? The rest who went to Melbourne or Perth got the Executor one. So pretty lucky with this one. And they gave us this stupid wristband the day before, which was like kind of dumb because I kind of had to shower and it's not waterproof, so I had to get a new one on the next day. Yeah, so that was our Friday. We kind of slept early because I always need like a full night's worth of sleep before I play in a big tournament because I'm not one of those who operate on like adrenaline and lack of sleep. Yeah, I need my sleep. If not, I just cannot focus on the tournament. So the this the venue on actual day is quite, well. It's not that big. It's basically just a convention hall, but considering that they were only like 400 plus TCG players and like maybe even less VGC and Go players, right? This seems about right. Uh, Basically the round one was at like 8 8 o'clock, so we had to get out at 6 a.m., make our way over there. I think doors open at 7 or 7:30, and there was no like big ceremony. There was no like super long talk. They just say you can check your round one pairings at 8:30. They just everyone just went. There's no like fanfare or anything. It was pretty good. I like the efficiency because they did all the check-in on the previous day, so everyone just showed up with their wristband and stuff. So yeah, that's a tournament. And throughout the day, even though you say like BO3 is very tiring, it was actually much better than it was actually much better than BO1. Honestly, I didn't feel as tired because right, there were a lot of like games where you get a bad draw or get donked turn one, right? You still get to play at least two more games, and so you don't feel like the same feeling of you get donked and you go walk around for 20 minutes, then after you wait for the aftermatch delay, which is like another 15 to 20 minutes, then you get to play your next game. Most of the time you get to play out your three games, and the overtime here, because they didn't do the 15-minute overtime clock yet. This was +3 and +3 unlimited overtime. So usually the overtime is like 20 minutes ish. So because there are some games where I played all three games, right? I ended just nice at like the +3 turns. And I still had time to go to the toilet, walk around a while before the next round. I still had time to chat with my friends. So yeah, I mean there's food at the back also, but I didn't get this food on the first day because I was still playing. I tried it on the second day. It's pretty good. Like, it was like some burger place. Yeah. Anyways, basically that's all the pre-tournament stuff. Now I'm just gonna go through the matchups that I faced because there were some interesting decks. Yeah. So round one I was against Khan from Turkey. He was telling me he doesn't really play Pokemon. He plays One Piece, and this was his first regionals. Then I told him, oh, then in that case you'll never guess what deck I'm playing because my deck is gonna rotate after like next month. And he says, well, there's no way you guess what deck I'm playing. And I go like, oh, I don't know, it's Snorlax Stall. And he's like, wait, there's no way. How did you know I was playing Snorlax Stall? So my round one matchup was against Snorlax Stall. I wasn't prepared for this matchup at all. He was playing quite an interesting list. He had a Milotic Cornerstone in here with Mantine, Mawile, two Jet Energy, I assume, for these two. It's quite interesting combo, but you have to put a lot of stuff on the bench, which gives free prizes for your opponent. He was also playing Pokestop, super aggressive version, which is quite interesting because normally like Snorlax Stall is a very supporter heavy deck. So if you go like Pokestop, you sure you hit all this stuff, but there's also a big risk that you discard any of your useful supporters. But I guess that's fine because you have two power pets, Team Yaoche and Silene. Anyways, I didn't prepare this matchup at all, so I was coming up with a game plan on the fly, and I decided, well, I guess the best attacker in this matchup is Iron Hands because you can either go Unpress and one-shot a Snorlax, or you go Unpress Amp if they have a Luxgate or a Bravery Charm on the Snorlax, and you basically put a lot of pressure on them. It's like taking one prize a turn, and basically there's no rush to bench anything unnecessary. There's no rush to go through the deck as long as you draw into an energy which Snorlax cannot mill with their supporters. Then I think the more important thing about my deck is I have 9 switching options, 2 switch, 4 switch cards, 1 prime catcher, 2 jet energy, and the jet energy cannot be discarded by Airy or Misfortune Sisters. My opponent does play Temple, so if he tempers me, I cannot use my jet energy, so that was quite important, but he was just having a lot of fun with his Pokestop. Anyways, for this I won a pretty long game one. Game one was around like 40 minutes long, and I was basically chilling. It was either I win this set 1-0 or I win this set 2-0. I did manage to win 2-0, I think, in time. Like last turn of time, I had the Iron Hands and a switch or something. But it was an interesting game, so GG's to Khan. Round 2, I was against Jonathan. Jonathan was a pretty chill guy. He was playing an interesting version of Miraidon EX. I think, yeah, he finished better than me, so props to him. Anyways, he was playing Miraidon EX with Pikachu EX package. He had a basic grass, basic metal, and Crispin in there together with the Magneton to blow itself out and charge Pikachu EX. I think it's a decent meta call because a lot of decks actually have a lot of trouble dealing with Pikachu EX. Like those non-spread damage decks. And so it was pretty interesting, but Miraidon EX is still a good matchup for Lost Box because if they go like M turn 1, turn 2, Lost Box can just reply with a Bear plus 3 energy, and Miraidon kind of struggles to KO a Bear unless they have a AZU, they have to like AZU Raikou the Bear, which is not very easy, especially if the Lost Box doesn't overbench. And if they Miraidon either benches Lumineon or Squawk, Lost Box can just go like M one of them, and you basically cannot use Magneton because you put the Miraidon so far behind in prizes that Lost Box just wins. So anyways, it was quite funny. Game 1, he misses all his generators on his Iron Hands, so I just had like Cram, Boss Cram, Q on Miraidon, and I was ahead on prizes already. So I just won based on that. Game 2, it was quite an even match. He went like M something, and I did the Bear 3 energy, and he basically couldn't kill my Bear because I didn't bench a lot of things, and he didn't have the full bench for AZU also. So my Bear basically just took 4 prizes because I Bear, then I had the Prime Catcher, and Q something else with my Bear again. So that was my game 2. Pretty interesting game. Okay, let's go back. Yeah, game 3. I need to open this in a new tab. Game 3, I was against Indy. I hope that's how I pronounce it. Indy from Australia, and he was playing Acheron EX. So he was like, he didn't talk much. He was like chewing gum. He had a team T-shirt and stuff, basically like nonchalant, level 9000 or some shit. But I was thinking like, okay, this is how I lose the Australian gang. Is up to get me at 2-0. I wasn't expecting to face Archelon, but Archelon is a pretty good matchup for Lost Box. The 3 Jamming Towers I think is quite interesting. I don't know if this for Guardi or what, but I thought Archelon usually plays Artisan, but that aside, Archelon is a pretty good matchup for Lost Box because Lost Box can just go like Pikachu the Arch, and they don't have a very good response. And if they put Fast in play, which they usually have to because it's their only draw engine besides Green Ninja, then Lost Box gets a free knockout with Bear, and Archelon has to find a black belt to knock out the Bear. And the thing is, I think the thing that most both my Archelon opponents missed out was that there's actually a play you can do against Pikachu EX where you go, Pikachu knocks out Archelon, then you send out Duraludon and go hammer in. And Lost Box doesn't have a good answer to Duraludon because there's 130 is a very hard number to hit. And next time you just go evaporate the Archelon and kill the Pikachu EX or whatever is in front. But both my Archelon opponents missed that play, and I think quite funny. In game 1, my opponent gets a knockout on my Cram. I went to Cram Duraludon or something. I don't remember. It takes a 1 price knockout, and I go at Bear knockout the Archelon that was damaged, and my opponent just finds the black belt and KOs my Bear. So now he's down to 3 prizes. I'm at 4. I use Roxanne, then I started shuffling my hand in my deck. Then he picks up Roxanne and reads it. Then I was like, okay, this guy is cooked, man. He's not prepared for Roxanne. He doesn't know what Roxanne does. So basically I Roxanne him out of the game. Game 1. Game 2, I just go like, I was super ahead. I think he took like a 1 price knockout again. Then I went like Pikachu attach 5 energy. than the Pikachu and just snipe the Archerdon off the board. And it's basically forced to put Fast into play to draw into his next Archerdon. And from there, my Pikachu, even if he plays an Iron, Pikachu basically has a lot of energy to respond to another Archerdon or whatever. So I win that matchup also. I was feeling pretty good about the matchup so far. Yeah, I had 3 good matchups so far. In game 4, I was against Jack from Australia, and it's quite interesting because on that day there were quite a few people playing this interesting Shadow Ledge deck. And Jack also finished better than me. Congrats. But yeah, so normally I would expect Shadow Ledge to be played with Palkia Vista, which I think Shadow Ledge should be played with Palkia Vista back in the day with the Radiant Greninja. So that's because that's how you snipe a bench. But Jack and a few other Australians were playing this Power Glass Greninja build where they just go first and jet the Greninja interactive, find the Power Glass somehow, like through the Town Store or FSS or something, and just go attach water to the Greninja. Then after every single turn, you can just loop the Greninja over and over again, which was actually quite bad for me because I don't run Manaphy in my deck, so the Greninja can actually start farming a lot of my Conface and stuff like that. So my game against Jack, I think game 1, he gets the Power Glass combo off, but I was lucky enough to have enough like flower selectings to make it to the chorus. I make it to 7 basically, so I went like Amp Radiant Greninja or something like that. And I didn't know I was playing Judge, so he goes like Luminion for Judge me and into a completely dead hand. And I had no Conface because he like Greninja my Conface off the board. So I lost like game 1 just because of that. So game 2, so now I was expecting a Judge, so I made sure to like pre-bench my Fast. And I managed to go first, was good because going first, I managed to get my own Greninja off. So the thing is, in this matchup, right, Greninja is actually the best attacker because you can go like Moonlight Shuriken, Salage, EX in the front, Moonlight Shuriken, like a Chakadet. You take 1 prize, hit the front for 180, then after you can either go Greninja again, take 3 prizes on like another Chakadet or something, or you stabilize this guy and put 30 somewhere to set up for something, another like multi-price KO, and you're only attacking with single prizes. And if all else fails, right, you can go like Regigigas, just one shot a Salage off the board, and you have a single prize in the front, which is quite bad for Salage because they have to kill Regigigas. If not, it's taking another Salage. Like, and they choose to boss the Fast, but they can just like Gigas again, and they cannot do much about it. So yeah, I lose game 1, then game 2 I go first, and I managed to go Greninja, and I win from there. Game 3 he goes first again with misses the Power Glass combo, so I was able to take like the first aggressive knockout on like Chakadet. Takes the knockout of Chakadet, and basically because I take the first knockout of Chakadet, he cannot like Briar ever because I'm always at odd prizes, and I went Greninja to set up for the multi-prize turn with Sableye. So I won round 4, yeah, it's quite lucky to hit 4 good matchups. Then round 5 I hit an Archerdon, which is another good matchup. I'm playing against Kelvin from Australia also. He was on Archerdon with Dialga Vista. He has the 1-1 Dialga Vista line, but this game goes quite similarly to my previous game against Archerdon. He got the Dialga play off game 1. He went like Iono into nothing, then he goes like Star Chronos the turn after, Star Chronos into Metal Blast, and I lose. Basically, game 2, he pre-benches the Dialga V, and I managed to cure it with I think Bear 3 energy, and he whiffs the Archerdon knock out my Bear. So I just bear the Archerdon and force him to find the Turo. Bear Archerdon, Roxanne, and force him to find the Turo, which he did not find. He did not find the Turo or the Square Cyclone, so I went Sableye and clean up. I think the last game that I won, he was breaking pretty badly. I was breaking pretty badly, but I had Comfy, so I went Comfy. He started with Doradon, Relicanth, and like passed. Then next turn he put down Iron Bundle and passed. So I crammed the Duraludon, still didn't have anything, so I went lost mine, both Duraludon and Relicanth. Then he was stuck with an Iron Bundle on the board, which he couldn't do much with. So yeah, that's the end of round 5. So after round 5 was pretty hyped. I only had to like minimum, okay, I didn't even have to win one more game to proceed to day 2. I can like lose 2 more games and tie one, because I needed like X21 to make day 2. So I was almost guaranteed to be in day 2, unless I lose all 3 of my next game, next 3 of my games. Yeah. So round 6 was against Alex was another chill guy, pretty nice to talk to. So he was playing Gardevoir EX with Cofagrigus EX, and for everyone who doesn't know what Cofagrigus EX does, it does, okay, I mean the ability is whatever, it's pretty good, but it does 110 and 5 damage counters anyway, so it's almost a Phantom Dive. And I was talking to Alex, I think on day 2 before the games. I met him in the morning, just wandering around, and he was telling me this is so good for the mirror, because you go, if you're behind prizes, you can go like counter catcher a Kirlia, and if a Monkey Dory, you shift 30 to another Kirlia and you take out both Kirlia at the same time. Or if you have 2 Monkey Dories, then you go shift 60 to Monkey Dory on the other Gardevoir's bench, then you Holo Hands, take out a Monkey Dory off the bench. And I guess this tag was mostly for mirror, but I guess I got hit by the collateral, because it turns out this attack is still pretty good against Lost Box. So game 1 he goes second, but he managed to get like the Klefki turn 2. So after I did like Flower Selecting Fighting, I was stuck after he pushes the Klefki, because I couldn't bundle this. And after that, I managed to cram the Klefki. No, I couldn't cram the Klefki. Sorry, I think I bossed and crammed something else. I bossed and crammed something else, and it goes like unfair stem, Holo Hands, take 3 comfy off the board. Then I was just dead. It just killed me from there. Yeah, game 2 I chose to go first again, but basically the same thing happens again, because I wasn't able to get the Cofagrigus off the board, and I just lose from there. I think he gets like a Flutter main Q, like double Convey, then after that he sets out Cofagrigus and just fucks me up. He's running an Enhanced Hammer, which is quite interesting. I'm not sure what this matchup is for. I mean, can't be Dragon Ball. Is it Dragon Ball? I'm not sure, but the rest of the stuff is quite standard for Gardevoir, 4 Oven, 3 Iron, 1 boss. Yeah, actually, Gardevoir was running 1 boss back in the day. I almost forgot about this. So I got my first loss against Alex, but it was pretty cool. Pretty cool guy, pretty nice to talk to. Round 6 was against Jonah on Gardevoir also, and all the way from South Africa. Quite interesting. And he was playing a much more standard list. He has the Griselia, which is quite tough for Gary to deal with. He's also not running Balloon. He's running 3 Monkey Dory, 3 Duck. And game 1, I think game 1, I'm not sure what happened. I think he chose first. Game 1 he chose first, and he just goes like Park Klefki, and I cannot do anything. So I started with a boss in my hand, so I went like boss Monkey Dory and and like cram, and not cram. I didn't even cram. Boss Monkey Dory and do Flower Select. Now he's stuck with Monkey Dory active. So Jonah, he decides to go attach the Monkey Dory and TM Evo his routes, which probably because I assume his hand is pretty bad, because he didn't get any Kirlia. But by doing this, he lets me build up my Lost Zone. Next turn, I managed to chorus and do 3 Flower Selects into 7 in the Lost Zone. Then I Greninja both his Kirlia off the board. And at this point, I think it's kind of stuck, so he went Monkey Dory, retreat to Klefki, and this is where I make my the crucial mistake. I was kind of hyped that my opponent didn't have any response to that, so I went like chorus. I wanted to reach 10, so I went chorus. Then I wanted to do Flower Select. I saw the top card and my opponent told me, hey, I have Craft Skin active. And so we had to call a judge. The judge comes over. It was pretty clear card. He just gives me a double price penalty for looking at the top card. Then he shuffles my hand and put the card back on top. And he asked me if I had any other play after this. Then I just say, probably because my hand was still pretty good. I got another Mirage Kit for the Greninja again. So I just told him I'm probably just gonna, Greninja his other two routes off the board. Yeah, so I do that, and my opponent scoops, which was quite lucky for me. He says he probably misplayed by just doing the TM with the Monkey Dory, which he said he wanted to conserve the dark energy, but it let me be able to play a game. So game two, he I think he didn't start too well. He started wasn't able to get the Crash Skin Interactive, so I was able to play my game, and because he wasn't playing Manaphy, I was able to do the Greninja play again. Greninja, then he can't play the game afterwards. So that's round 7 done, and which puts me into day 2, confirm day 2, 6-1-0. But I still have to play my last game, just play out, because if I go 7-1-0, then I have a better chance of making top card. So round 8, I was against Lucas, I think, who won the Sydney Regionals recently. He was playing also Power Gas Edge, but his version is even more, well cooked. Because he has running 1-1 line of Zamazenta Vista, and Zamazenta Vista was actually quite annoying for my deck to deal with, because the Vista power actually makes all of his Pokemon take 100 damage less next turn, which means I can't go for the Radiant Greninja play. I cannot go, if I go for Gigas doesn't one-shot Channel-Dash EX. And he also running 2 energy just for this guy. Quite insane. So, and Zamazenta V, just to go through it, he says once during the turn you may discard a hand and draw 5 cards, use his ability your turn end. So it's basically just insane turbo turn 1, just stick for the Power Glass combo, because you can just go Lumia for Carmine, Squawk, then at the end of the turn you just get to use Zamazenta V, and basically half your deck's gone at that point. So against Lucas, I managed to go first game 1, and I got he doesn't have any play, doesn't have the Power Glass play, because he was going second. Then I get the Gigas on the Sarah Ledge and win from there. He had to use his Forest Stone for something, so he couldn't use the Zamazenta Vista ability. And game 2 was quite tragic. Game 2 I chooses first, then he doesn't get the Greninja play again, but I start Pikachu attach pass while I was going second. Then he retrieves the Buddew's my Pikachu. I basically draw nothing, and he just kills my Pikachu with Sarah Ledge. So after that, we go into game 3. Game 3, I was able to go first, but I started Sableye attach pass. And he goes into Budew, and I scratch his Budew. Then he retreats back into his Greninja to do the Power Glass setup. And I bench Fast Iron Hands to make sure I don't die the next turn. Then he just Greninjas my Fast and Iron Hands over 3 turns. Takes 4 prizes. Then I Roxanne him. I Roxanne into nothing. And I lost. So basically I lost round 8 to double break, which was pretty tragic, but still well played by Lucas. It was quite an interesting deck. So after that, I still had to go back for day 2, because my record was 6-2-0. We had 2 more rounds to play in day 2. Then after that, it was a top card. So obviously I was trying to aim for a top card, but it wasn't gonna be easy, because I think the meta in day 2 was a lot of unfavored matchups for me. So I had dinner with my friends. Then we went back to my the Airbnb, and I had to sleep early because I need the sleep before. Okay, so I wake up at 6 a.m. on day 2. Basically couldn't sleep. I went, walked around the living room, sat around for a while. But anyways, I went back to the convention center at around 7 a.m. because I already had nothing to do. and I figured myself get myself in the mood for playing some games there, and that's where I went to Alex and I had a chat with him. He was telling me he hopes to make it for GLC in the afternoon, but uh, he has to play all the way because he was doing a bit too well. So yeah, I had a nice chat with him, asking him about his deck. He said he stole the technology from, I think, another local, and he's been testing it with good results. So I guess it's kind of a shame that I didn't really get to steal this technology because rotation happened right after this tournament, and the current guy just can't afford to play the Comfort Gigas in the deck. It's a bit too much. So I was looking around. I think doors open at like 8 o'clock. They went in waiting for round one. Then they announced round one pairing is up. They went to check my pairing, and it's none other than the world champion Henry Brand. Uh, and I was like, okay, why is Henry Brand at 6-2-0? But there he was playing Gardevoir EX, and I think pretty standard version of Gardevoir EX. He had he had two Turo. It was quite interesting. But no Manaphy, 3 triple Evo. I asked him about this and he said he didn't want to miss the Evo turn, so he was playing 3 Evo with 3 Oven. So I lost the dice roll and he calls first, which to me is like, oh, there's no way Gardevoir calls first unless they know they're playing against Lost Box. So he had info on my deck. It was quite funny. He started routes, attach pass, and I donked him game 1. I donked him game 1 with a Cramran going second. So I won game 1. Game 2, he gets to go first again. He does Krefki, locked me, and I was struggling for a while, so I went like Prime Catcher Cram on the Curlia, and he goes unfair stem and shit, and I just lost on the spot. Which I told him I think it was a misplay for taking like the single prize on the Curlia. It wasn't worth it. It's a grade with me. It was like a misplay. And I never go for the early cram on the Curlia. But yeah, so that was the game 2. Game 3, I got to go first. And he opens raw Krefki start, and I just die from there. I was like, there's no way you started with Krefki, and he told me like that's for donking me game 1. So he got his revenge. Because started Krefki and I started like Nest Ball. I went like Nest Ball, Iron Hands, and started attaching to Iron Hands. And I end his Krefki. By the time I end his Krefki, he had like Double Monkey with Gardevoir. He went like Double Monkey, Gardevoir, unfair stem KO my Iron Hands, and I just lost from there. So unfortunate matchup. It was still interesting game. So I was at 6-3-0 playing for. I basically had no chance to get top card, but I was playing for top 32, which was cash. I think cash, and my round 10 was against Samir, also from Australia, and it's quite funny. He actually played against Seb yesterday and won. So he was on Dragon Ball Dusknoir. My first Dragon Ball All tournament. I think it's a quite standard build of Dragon Ball with 4 Oven, 3 Lance, Sparkling Crystal, Double Candy. Had a Temper in here. So game 1 I got to go first, and like he chose second, so I lost the dice roll. He chose second, then I had the raw Greninja Crispin in my hand, so I was feeling pretty good. But I went to like shuffle my deck, like I did my first deck search, and I dropped my deck. Like the deck just slipped out my hands and dropped on the floor. Then I was like, oh shit, what do I do now? Can I just pick up my cards? So we had to call judge, and the judge basically just gave me a game loss for dropping my deck. It was tragic, and that incident basically put me off like Katana Sleeves for forever, because before that I was like a Katana Shield, because they, well, by right they last longer than Dragon Shield, and like are like nicer to handle, but after that I swore never to use Katana Sleeves again, and I never dropped my deck ever again. So yeah, game 1 was the loss. Game 2 I got the Greninja onto double Dracloak going second. Like I went like go second, plus lag, then he goes by Badiu, then I just go like Greninja, double Dracloak. Game 3, he chooses to go second again, then I didn't have a great start. I went like comfy pass, he Badiu's me, and after that, I was stuck in the item lock, so I had to cram the Badiu, and he goes like Dragapult, cram, take out cram and convey. Then I had to stretcher my cram and go cram something again. And he goes like Phantom Dive cram, put 30, put 10 on my fast, put 10 on like each of my conveys, something like that. So he was down to 3 prizes. Then I go, okay, I don't really have much to do now, so I'll just try Greninja, his 2 Dracloaks on the board, and hope that he just breaks from the Roxanne. So I lost vacuum his Sparking Crystal, so he only has like fire energy in his head, on his Dragon Ball. Then I go like Roxanne, Greninja, double Dracloak. Then he just draws the freaking Psychic plus boss and takes 3 prizes on my on my fast and comfy. So yeah, that's how my run ended. Tragic end to my run, but I finished. Still finished top 64. Still pretty cool. Had some fun games. I got a booster box, Surging Sparks booster box for my troubles. So that's pretty good, but I just sold it. I went to open it and I basically just only got like Cyrano and Surfer Full Art, and that was it. It was a horrible box. But anyways, so I guess for anyone not really interested in GLC, you can log off now. But I played in a GLC side event at Brisbane Regional Championship, and I was looking forward to playing in this tournament because it was my first time playing in like a official-ish GLC tournament. This format isn't really supported in Singapore. I always ask for this every time they ask us to fill up a survey at our big events. I put GLC as a format I want for PBL, MBL, regionals, all the Google Forms. I always put this and they never put through. So yeah, I was looking forward to this. I played a very toxic psychic list. The usual stuff is still here. We have the Gallic line, 1-1 Gallic line. We have the Cleffa for draw. We have the Zatu line. I wasn't playing Malamar, which meant that my energy acceleration wasn't that good. But for this deck, I had a lot of like 2 energy attackers, so it was still fine as long as I set up the Zatu. I was playing the copycat Mimikyu, which copies the last attack that our opponent used. It's very good if you just need to blow up something. I was playing Iron Boulder, which is like a new in thing at that point of time. Basically, if both players had the same hand size, Iron Boulder does 170. And there are a lot of ways to get the same hand size. We have Copycat, we have Money, we have Judge. And I think I don't know if I have any other disruption here. I don't think so. Yeah, I only have these three to go down to the same hand size. Yeah, and I was also playing Mysterious Tail Mew. It was some release played the Bench Barrier Mew, but the Mysterious Tail Mew I think is better just to dig for a better turn 1 start if you can get it into the active. Yeah, I mean this deck has no bench barrier, but this deck doesn't really need bench barrier because this deck runs the very toxic Toka Keys plus Dust Gnaw line. And basically, if you go like Dust Gnaw active, you get to flip Toka Keys. If you flip heads, you get to attack again, and you get to flip again. So this deck can potentially take 4 prizes in 1 turn. So basically, I think for Chelsea, if you play a mechanic to cheat more prizes, then becomes very hard for the opponent to come back because you're not playing single prizes. But I guess the one weakness of this deck is the support Pokemon are very frail. Like once you take out a support Pokemon, then this deck can barely play the game. I was running other supporters. Some of them are quite standard. I think Tulip, Guzma is quite good. Guzma and Hala in case you need to look for like counter energy or reversal energy. Chorus basically the same thing. You can go get like Dimension Valley and like one of the energies also. So yeah, don't think there's anything too insane here. Yeah, I mean the insane part is here. So my round 1 I was against Psychic Mirror Match, and he wasn't playing like this package. He was playing like other stuff like Malamar, but he still had Iron Boulder in there. And it was quite funny because we kept asking each other like what's our hand size. We basically just ran iron boulder into each other over and over again. But he won. I with like I iron boulder one of the turns, and he basically went like iron boulder boss my Galate, knock it out, so I was stuck instead his Galate. So I lost from there. Game 2, I was against Ogi Dogi. All games were like best of 1 30 minutes, so it was pretty fast. I was against Ogi Dogi fighting, and my opponent basically just got rolled over because his standard deck is weak to psychic, and I managed to flip 2 heads against him. So he lost pretty fast. And last game I played against this guy played an interesting fire deck. I think his engine was this Infernape. He told me he made this deck like the day before just for this side event. He was playing, which one was he playing? I think it was this new one. Yeah, it should be this one. I don't see why he would play any other deck, but any other card Infernape. But he was playing this one just to charge energy to his fire attackers, and he breaks, and I just go like two cookies on him and he dies. But yeah, it was pretty fun. It was pretty good experience. I got 2 tickets out of it, which I couldn't really redeem much. I redeemed like 2 gachas, which had like Mimikyu in them, and I whiffed the Mimikyu. So that's fine. I didn't really have a lot of time to play side events because I was playing in the tournament most of the time, and by the time I finished GLC started at like 2, and by the time I finished GLC, it was almost like 4, and the whole place was like shutting down because the regionals were like done at that point. So yeah, that's my Brisbane Regional Championship experience. I hope I shared something useful. If not, yeah, hope you enjoyed the yapping. I'll see if I can do one of these the next time I go overseas, or next time I play like an interesting tournament. But yeah, goodbye.